I came across this video one time on some social media platform, and it was a boy getting put into a roller coaster, right? And the thing click, 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 click. And then he's locked in, right? He's excited. But the second that he was locked in, and it hadn't even started yet, but it was about to. And then it starts moving, and he just starts freaking out. He hasn't even dropped off the edge yet. It's just beginning. And he's going, no, please stop. Let me out. Let me out. And unfortunately, he had already been click, 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 locked in. Not much you can do. That's how I feel right now about this Trump presidency. I want off. Can we, is there? No, there's not. We're locked in. I don't want to go even around the first loop-de-loop. I'm out. And now I'm trying to figure out if there's any way I can slip my body out from under the thing that holds you in. But there's not. I ate too much breakfast, so I can't get out. This is going too far with this analogy. I agree. So Trump met with Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK. And just like the Macron meeting, it was just really uncomfortable. And I want to show you one moment that took place where during their press conference, Trump cuts off Starmer and goes, that's enough. That's enough. What? If you appreciate the show, please do click the subscribe button. And if you want to go further, you can click the join button below, become a member to get the members only bonus show.
We had a really good discussion, a productive discussion, a good discussion, as a result of which our teams are now going to be working together on an economic deal. Our teams are going to be working together on security in Ukraine. You mentioned Canada. I think you're trying to find a divide between us that doesn't exist. We're the closest of nations, and we had very good discussions today, but we didn't
discuss
enough. Canada.
Thank you.
That's enough. What? I want off. I ate the, what are those called? The funnel cake right before I got on. I had a milkshake and I'm going to throw up. I want off. I don't want this. This came after Starmer had to cut Trump off and say, no, that's not true during their Oval Office meeting.
We wanted to have a little bit of what the European nations said. You know, they get their money back by giving money. We don't get the money back. Biden made a deal. He put in $350 billion. And I thought it was a very unfair situation.
We're not getting all of ours. I mean, quite a bit of ours was gifted. It was given. There were some loans, but mainly it was gifted.
Yep. Trump keeps making a claim up about $350 billion that doesn't exist. And of the money we did give, the 175, I think it is, roundabout, billion, you have loans, you have investments in our own equipment as we give old equipment that we would have replenished anyways. And then you have some just sums of money, okay? That's also what Europe has done, and Trump just keeps lying. We already saw Macron go, actually, no, you're wrong. But see, I've said it before with Trump, most people, when they get corrected, they correct. Trump hyperbolizes. So he'll tell a lie, it gets corrected, then he'll just juice it up more. Oh, it's not 50 million condoms to Gaza? Okay, now it's going to be 100 million to Hamas. What? How'd we get there? No, the first claim was wrong. Similar thing here. He just keeps telling the lie. They don't get any, they get all their money back and we don't. No. And then you have moments like this.
Between our two countries. That is why this is the greatest alliance for prosperity and security I think the world has ever seen. Whenever necessary, we absolutely backed each other up, and that's at the
Could you take on Russia by yourselves?
Well,
all right, one or two more.
No, our alliance is strong. Yes, we're more powerful. Obviously, hello, Merca. But that doesn't mean we don't benefit from, actually, one of the reasons we're so powerful is because of the global complex web of alliances. A world order that was established by us in coordination with other countries that we've benefited from, and Trump wants to burn it all down. Burn it down, he says. Then, and this is, if Biden did this, we would have round-the-clock stories about it. Trump gets asked about calling Zelensky a dictator, and I don't believe that he actually forgot, but he's acting like he didn't know that he said that.
President, do you still think that Mr. Zelensky is a dictator?
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
Yeah, so he's being silly, I guess. Look, put that back up. Look at that. Look at that. What on earth is that grin? This is not a joke, Donald. Wow. Yeah, so he's now going, did I say that? Yes, obviously you did. You know you did. Some people are saying it's a memory lapse. It's not. The grin proves that he's making light of levying a false allegation against Zelensky while he cozies up to Putin. And then you have this.
Let's see here. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier today, you told me that you believe that foreign countries pay tariffs, but Americans who are concerned about higher prices believe, as most people do, that they're paid by consumers and importers when they import things into this country. Can you explain how you came to this belief that foreign governments are paying tariffs?
Sir, you have asserted that 2 + 2 = 6. Many people believe that 2 + 2 = 4. Could you clarify how you came to the conclusion that 2 + 2 = 6?
And for the Prime Minister, did you discuss with President Trump his repeated statements of desire to annex Canada? And has the King expressed any concern over the President's apparent desire to remove one of his realms from his control?
So I'll go ahead. The first part, the tariffs are necessary because we've been treated very unfairly by many, many countries, including our friends, friend and foe. But we've been treated very unfairly in trade at levels that nobody's really ever seen before, and especially under the Biden administration, they really took advantage of the United States. I put massive tariffs on China during my 4 years. We had the best economy in the history of our country, probably the best economy, maybe the best economy in the history of the world. And I used tariffs to even things up. And in particular with China, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars and we had no inflation. And it's a myth. It's a myth that's put out there by foreign countries that really don't like paying tariffs, and especially to even up. So we've been treated badly by a lot. We're using tariffs. And I find, and you just have to look at the numbers, but I find that it's not about inflation.
I want off of this ride.
It's about fairness, and the inflation for us has not existed. And I don't think it's going to exist. We're going to bring our car industry back. We're going to bring our chips back. We're going to bring so many things.
Can't do it. It's not true that there was no inflation. It's not true that his tariff policy was anything comparable to what we're seeing now compared to what he was doing then. It's not true his statements that he created the greatest economy ever. It's not true that foreign governments pay the tariffs. It's not true that it's a myth created by the foreign governments to mislead Americans. What was true in that statement? So we live in an environment. We really do live in an environment where the sitting president is either lying, or sometimes the way he talks about it, I genuinely think he might be confused about what a tariff is. We keep coming back to it. You're saying, Luke, don't explain it again. We've heard it too many times, but apparently not enough to reach him. So you're just applying a tax to U.S. companies who are importing foreign goods. We went over this with Kristi Noem and the cowboy hats. If she were to import a cowboy hat, if she had a cowboy hat company, she was importing cowboy hats and then selling them to consumers in the United States. If she bought it for $1, but Trump applies a 25% tariff, then she's going to have to pay the $1 to buy the hat and then the 25 cents to the government. $1.25 now she's having to pay to import that cowboy hat. If your business model is such that you don't have such a room, which most businesses don't, to just take that burden, you then have to raise the price so that your profit margin is the same, so that your business can continue to function. And now they're selling the hat. Instead of you bought it for $1, you're selling it for $2. Now they're selling it for $2.25. Now, let me give you an example of how tariffs impact supply chains and an example of when you might want to do that. It might cause things more expensive, could cause disruptions, but in a limited, narrow way, you're okay with that trade-off and you're going to do it. Let's say we had ammo and we were buying ammo for our military from other countries. And then we started getting scared because the countries we're buying from, we could get into military conflict with, and could they cut off ammo to us? We're going to rely on them that much. All right, we're going to apply tariffs on ammo being imported, a huge tariff, so that the only place that ammo can be manufactured for our military is in the United States. So there's no risk of, and what I mean is because you make it so economically unviable for U.S. companies. Yes, through threatening they have to pay huge taxes. So now they are thinking, well, now it's more expensive to buy from other countries. I'll go ahead and create a manufacturing in the United States for ammo. And now for national security reasons, it's now going to be more expensive. It is, but for national security reasons, we think that's worthwhile. That makes sense. Okay. What doesn't make sense is, number one, to think that the foreign government is the one paying. And number two is to think applying on all products from countries that we benefit a lot from buying all sorts of things. There's not a huge justification to need U.S. manufacturing for. So then it's more affordable for us. And by applying across the board, it's like you're saying that you're trying to economically incentivize every single thing the U.S. consumes coming from inside of the U.S., which is logistically and physically impossible unless we want to cut down a lot on what we're consuming. And we don't have the manpower. We literally don't have the people, and definitely don't have the manufacturing infrastructure, etc., to have all of our supply chains only be in the United States. And we benefit a bunch from the global trade that we're engaged in. So limited tariff for a particular reason, fair. You got a good justification. It will make things more expensive, but that might be a trade-off you're okay with. On all products, for an economically incoherent reason, not reasonable whatsoever. And the fact that we keep having to go through this, not to some rando on the street, but to the U.S. president, is disturbing. Share your thoughts in the comments.